a lot of people don't know the responsibility or area of control that each position can play in. For example, on Mirage, on A side, the A side player can play triple, default, shadow, sandwich, wherever he prefers to be without having to tell his team. But if he is doing something else, like pushing a ramp or playing retake, he has to communicate that to his team. So in this video, I would like to just go over some guidelines on where you can play the different positions from, and when you have to communicate that you're doing something and when you don't have to communicate that you're playing somewhere. So we start on A side of Mirage. The A anchor can play from side, like maybe off angle here, or maybe off angle here on the rain wall here, maybe triple or default, sandwich or shadow. He can generally play in this kind of closed area without having to tell his team where he is playing. But if we move out of that area, let's say he is pushing ramp, then he has to tell his team that he's pushing ramp. He can't just push ramp one random round and not tell his team about it. That is a very bad idea. He could communicate, hey, I'm gonna push ramp this round. So let's say we're in spawn. I can say, hey, I'm gonna push ramp, and it'd be like, then he can go ahead and throw his utility, and then he can come up close to ramp and peek in whatever way he like to. Maybe he grenade. Maybe he smoke palace. But you still get the idea. He is saying that he's pushing ramp before he is gonna push ramp. Same with palace. He can push palace if he wants to. I'm not saying that it's a good idea. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying it's an option. Same with playing retake. This is more like saying, hey, I'm playing retake from a ticket or CT. Or hey, I'm playing retake from stairs and jungle. Then you would be doing exactly what you said. If you said you were gonna be playing retake from the stairs and jungle, or like this area, then you would be playing a retake from this area. Don't say, oh, I'm gonna play retake from stairs this round, and then you are pushing ramp or playing somewhere on side, without telling your team that you have switched up. You have to tell your team that. So yes, as a big side anchor, the A player on Mirage has some options, but generally in this A side area. Now moving on to the connector player, this is where it gets a bit more interesting, because he is what is considered a rotator, while the A player is an anchor. The connector player is a rotator, which means he has way more freedom. He can be the second A player, he can be start the window, he can maybe go into ladder, he can fight middle, he can push middle, he can fall back just to play connector normally from jungle, or maybe go inside of connector. You see here he has way more options and freedom than the A player, but the connector player also has a much larger degree of responsibility. So the connector player could, for example, call maybe for a ramp push, but he has to tell his A player that he's doing it, and maybe ask his A player if it's a good idea and if he will come along. After all, it's a team. You have to work together. But again, as for the connector player's options, there could be maybe smoking the bottom connector. There's a bunch of different lineups. And then he can come out here, he can peek underpass, he can peek top middle, take these fights. Maybe he is gonna push through it. Maybe he's gonna play on this angle. Maybe he's gonna drop his flash to the A player so the A player can flash a connector for him. Like this. Or maybe some other way. Maybe it's through connector. Who knows? But that is just for the connector area. He can also be playing from stairs, peeking ramp, taking this fight. You can also go over in window. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, he can do all this stuff I just mentioned. Like playing in connector, holding this headshot angle, peeking stairs, without having to tell anyone that he's doing it. But if he's gonna do something else, like play on A side, push ramp, play somewhere else, maybe towards window, then he's gonna have to communicate it. For example, let's say he's playing towards window. He's gonna be like, alright, I'm gonna start window this round. And the T's should be smoking window. You see, he starts, the smoke comes, and he's just spamming. That's it. You could also be asking for boost into ladder room. I know he is the connector player, but he should know that what he's doing. He should know that by going into ladder room, B side and short will be strong, but the A side will be weak. So that's up for the connector player to determine. Mostly. And again, he can also, after he has been spamming a bit in the window, he can molly underpass, he can nade, he could molotov the top mid boxes. So if the window is smoked again, he can still do the Molotov. Okay, this kind of missed. But you get the idea. That was and again, with peeking underpass and top middle, he has to say that. He can't just be doing it randomly and potentially lose his team the round without telling his teammates. Moving on to the short player, this is kind of the same thing as a connector player, except for the fact that he also has options like staying on B side and going middle, peeking mid, blocking from his own smoke here. So this is very similar to the connector player, but he's probably not going to start on the window. That will be kind of dumb. Or not dumb, depends on what has been going on and what the plan of the team is. But again, he has the freedom to be doubling up on B side. You can play here, maybe. You can have, you can run up short. You can just come short here. Without having to tell anyone, and he can maybe peek this and maybe fall back. Probably makes more sense to fall back. But again, he can freely go into ladder room. If he goes into ladder room, he needs to tell his teammate on B side that he's going into ladder room. Because this means that he will not be able to support B side if the T's decide to pop B. But this is also a very strong position to hold the window boost and short split, or B split. So yeah, you can maybe ask his B player for a boost. And maybe if they really want to, they could push ups. Now, for the B player, he is very much limited. He is mostly gonna start his rounds by coming out of the kitchen window here. Out of kitchen window, throwing a Molotov. Don't know the exact lineup. Maybe doesn't need to be a lineup, but he should be starting by throwing a Molotov here and deep into the apartments. And then he has options of jumping onto van or balcony and holding here. He can jump spot. He can hold this angle. He doesn't need to tell his team that he's doing this. He can also hold an off angle. However, he will have to communicate if there's anything like the T's could be peeking a short or kitchen window. It would be very annoying for a teammate to just rotating to B side in through here and just getting killed by someone in the apps without knowing that this was a possibility. So always communicate these types of gaps. But then again, you could be holding here. You could say if the B player is gonna push, he needs to communicate it and maybe ask for the short player to help him. I don't know, kinda depends. But whatever, the B player should always ask for the short player. Should always tell his team that he's pushing, if he is pushing. Don't be a brain dead and jump up here and push without telling this to any of your teammates, and then you die, and then they are gonna be like, what the hell, why did you do that? Now for the last role of the Opera, I forgot to mention one thing for the B player. The B player can play retake B from short. However, he needs to communicate that again. This is an option, he's free to do it. You can play retake B from short. And maybe in the mid round, if the short player dies, he could push up short and become the new short player. Maybe not. I don't know what the B players usually do. But for the last role, the Opera, this is a very interesting role because you have the most powerful gun. Your team should be you should be kind of set up to get picks. Maybe not. It's probably not gonna happen in PUCs, but most CT setups are played around the AWP because it's a one-shot gun. It's the most expensive gun, and offers also should be very good at positioning. Opening is like a game of positioning. You want to be at the right place at the right time. So that is why many CT setups are kind of played around the AWP. So you can start window. You don't have to. You can always go somewhere else. Maybe you go somewhere else and your connector player starts window and just starts spamming. So, but what you can do is, if you don't say anything, your team is expecting you to start in a window. And after you get smoked here, you could maybe Molotov the top boxes. Maybe you're also gonna throw a nade. Maybe you're gonna break the window smoke. That was I missed that. But after that, you're gonna rotate. To where? That is up for you to decide. It all depends. What have they done in previous round? What do you think they will do? What are they actually doing? Kinda like it's again a game of positioning. You have to recognize the round that your team is playing and be playing around that. And the team also needs to be recognized what you are doing and be playing around that. So, for example, if I would be oping on Mirage, I would run out into a CT and post up on a ramp here. If I recognize that my teammate is holding ramp, maybe he's playing like triple, I'm gonna shift back and hold the palace walkout. Maybe I think they're going B and I want to change, or maybe I just want to change the rounds we have been playing. I could tell my B player to go short, because I'm gonna hold apps. I could come around here, hold here. I could also get out, hold from here. And so if they come B, I can shoot, drop a smoke, and try to live. I have many chances of getting a kill, especially if I'm playing up here. I can shoot, try to get a kill, fall back, aim here, shoot, try to get a kill, fall back again around here, maybe not, maybe just around here, bench, shoot, try to get a kill, fall back, hold here or here, maybe peek here, I don't know. There's a lot of options. And I could, if I am doing this, if I am sending my short player, or my B player onto short with my short player, now we're playing 2 on short, so the T's are gonna kill my short player. They're gonna be like, oh, we killed the short player. And then there's another one right here. The same for A side. If my teammate is somewhere over towards connector, I could, or jungle, stairs maybe, I could ask him to double up in connector. So again, the T's, they run up short, they kill my connector player, boom, there's another connector player. And if I really feel that I can jump up here and peek short from here and connector, this is a bit more of a risky play, because I will be exposed to a ramp and a palace while doing this. But I calculated the risk, I took the move, I made my decision, and I'm ready to pay the price for it if there is a price. Yeah, that's just kinda how each position plays, anchors or rotators. It makes sense to give a short explanation at the start of the game, what type of game you are gonna be playing. For example, if I'm the A player, I might say I'm gonna play a lot of retake, or I'm gonna play close up ramp and palace. I'm gonna be playing somewhere. If I'm a connected player, I'm gonna say I'm gonna play somewhere towards jungle, ready to give mid. I'm gonna be saying I can hold the window boost. Like if I'm the short player, I can say I'm gonna try to get into ladder for most of this game, or maybe just this round. If I'm B player, I can say I'm gonna Molotov apartments, and then I'm gonna jump up, hold for balcony. Maybe that. I don't know. There's a lot of options. And if you're gonna play different from previous rounds, then it makes sense to tell your team. Yeah, that was it. Goodbye.